Hello. Well, it's the two of us, huh? Be right back. What'd you say? Okay.
Hello. No, I can't hear you. Can you hear me? Nope, I still can't hear you.
Hello.
Hello.
Now can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you.
And you'll make me a co-host, Carol, when you have a chance?
Yeah, I'm gonna do that right now.
Awesome.
Need that to show your desktop?
Yes.
Yep.
Well, the PowerPoint.
Yep.
Right. Yeah.
Not your desktop.
Whatever.
Got to be very careful about what's back
Oh,
there.
I'm sure.
So we have people waiting. Klaus isn't in yet. He's not on yet. And Beth. Oh, there's Sally. I'll let her in.
It's you got a little power there, don't you, Kara? Oh, yep, we'll let you in. Nope, not letting you in.
It's a little nerve-wracking.
Only the first couple times,
Yeah.
or maybe the first half a time. You get over it.
Yeah, you probably hear my dog prancing around. Bernie finally took the kids out. They were fighting.
It's all fine.
There's dogs here too.
Yeah.
Everyone's heard my dogs.
Oh, there's Beth.
Sally. Hi, Sally.
Hey, Sally.
Hey, Beth.
Hi, Beth.
And I think this is Svi getting on, Mike?
Yes,
Huh?
Okay.
but I'd hold off on him.
Yeah, I'm assuming it's him. It's ZVISZAFRAN.
Yep.
But it's all like lowercase, so I didn't know.
Who?
Yep.
Svi.
V.
V.
Oh, it's V. Okay.
I'll be right back. I just wanted to say hi and make sure I got in.
We got a lot of people waiting.
Good.
Really?
Anybody you don't recognize?
Annie Ruberti? Annie Ruberti? Ruberti. That's the only one.
You know, I feel like that name.
Know her?
No,
Sally
I
might
feel
know
like
her.
You're muted, Sally.
But it looks like you're saying something important.
Hey,
No, I said I don't know her, but she was on last time for a little
Oh,
while and then popped
Yeah.
off. They were, I
Yeah.
don't know.
I thought I recognized the name. Yeah, I couldn't remember it was town. That'd be fine.
Oh, that's
Kathleen
Jim. Hey,
Stein.
that's Jim.
Kathy
Huh?
Stein.
That's Jim Putman.
Oh, Jim Putman's on.
Oh,
And that's not his wife's name either.
no, it's Elaine or something.
Yeah. And then do we know Kathleen Stein?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
Lee.
just want to make sure. Hey, Klaus.
You know,
Hey, guy.
Kathleen Stein, I don't know,
Howdy.
Mike, if you want to identify this in any way, but I believe Kathleen Stein is here as a League of Women Voters observer. They just send people, you know, when they're at our meetings, they just raise their hand and say, just so you know, that's why I'm here.
That's fine. Anybody can attend.
Right, I know, but I think it's nice to sort of identify that's why they're there and what they're doing.
Mhm.
I would be happy to, I could even put it in the chat.
That'd be best.
Okay.
So how does this work? Do I let everybody in?
Yeah,
As
we're
long
here.
as everybody looks familiar, I don't see why not.
Yeah. Fox is on, Svi's on, Lenore's on, Tim
Okay.
Danahy, Jim Sanama, all the other people.
All the peeps.
So you tell me when, Mike.
Yeah, let them in. Have at it.
Mhm. Yep. We all got smaller.
Hey, everybody.
Hey,
Lee,
Hey, Zvi.
Bill, how are you?
Good. Mayor, how are you?
Not too bad.
The lawn's looking great. I was admiring it yesterday.
how you doing?
Well, we're making progress here. Is everybody else going to stay in the background until they're ready? Kara, is there anybody else left?
No, everybody's in.
Okay, well, we might as well get started here. Call this meeting to order. We're meeting via Zoom pursuant to executive orders, and I won't read them all, but the latest one was 202.55, which allows us to do it this way. And we're going to change up our program here a little bit because we've invited President Bill Fox and President Zvi Safran to come to our meeting tonight. We would like them to update us on where they are at the individual schools as they proceed into reopening. For those of you that don't know, we've been meeting on a regular basis throughout the summer as both schools prepare for the return of students. We are all hoping that this is a success. And we know our community depends on it being a success. So both presidents are here to answer any questions that anybody might have. So I guess which one of you would like to go first and let us know how things are progressing?
I'm sure Zvi, his whole life, when we do alpha order, is always the last guy to go. So we'll do the ABCs and start with Z.
Okay, there you go.
V?
If the world ran according to first names, I'd be the last in everything. Well, hello, everyone, and thank you for attending. And I'd like to start by thanking Mayor Dalton and all of our friends here in Canton, in the village and in the town, for all the help and support that they've given us as we've tried to work our way through these challenging times. And so we're looking forward to welcoming our students back to Canton. In fact, our early returners started coming today. And so we're offering, all of our programs. And some of our programs have always been purely online. And of course, they're continuing that way. But, we're offering also our traditional range of programs that are offered face-to-face. And most of them, the lecture part of the program is going to be offered online for the larger courses. And smaller courses would be done either online or face-to-face or hybrid. And so we're very much looking for our students to return, just as Mayor Dalton just said, they're the lifeblood of the community. And frankly, we miss them. And so we're looking forward to this. With respect to testing, okay, all students who will step foot on our campus will be tested. And so whether they're resident on campus, living in our residence halls, or whether they're commuters, okay, we're going to test them, okay? And they're going to be tested as they arrive at the campus, okay? And so, like I said, the first group was being tested today. After the initial screening testing, we'll be testing people randomly, right, every week, okay, over the course of the term, just to make sure that there are no little surprises waiting for us. And we're using the test that came out of Upstate Medical that you may have seen the governor's pronouncement on Friday. And so it's in fact a very good test that eliminates the possibility, or practically eliminates the possibility of false negatives. And so we're very happy about that. The other question that we get asked a lot is what's going on with athletics. And you may have seen an announcement already about our golf teams competing. Okay, and so we're going to have some athletic competitions in sports where it's safe to do so. And so golf is the first one up, and we're going to be having a regional competition up here. We might be able to also do cross country, other sports. We're going to look at, individually, and if there's a safe way to do them, we'd like to do them at least locally and with other colleges in the region. We're going to be offering, the strength conditioning and training and things of that nature within our athletic program. And so again, we've looked at how to do this in the safest possible manner. If you come onto our campus and look around, you'll see that some things will have changed. Okay, because again, because of wanting to make sure everything is as safe as possible, right? Our classrooms are going to look a little bit different. They're going to have fewer chairs in them so that the students can all socially distance at least 6 feet. And of course, all of our students, when they're in one of our buildings, right, are going to have to be masked, okay, following, the safety orders that are currently best practices. Elsewhere on our campus, we've upgraded the filtering systems in our buildings so that they're, at least at, the highest recommendation from the state, and some of them are higher than that. Okay, because our two main goals, right, for the semester are what they always are. We want to afford our students a high quality education, right, that's applied in nature. That's who we are as a college of technology. And we want to do this in a manner that's safe. And so, safe for our faculty, safe for our staff, safe for our students, safe for our community. And so we've taken lots of steps to make that happen. The other thing that I think is worth mentioning, of course, is that, these are challenging times for our students as well. And so something that I'm very proud of is the welcoming atmosphere that just about everybody who we've worked with the associated colleges has afforded us. Like I said, it's the folks in the village and the town, our elected officials, our police officers, right, in this area, and our health officials, right, from the county have been extremely wonderful partners in helping us make sure that we're doing things in the safest possible way, but also in assuring us that, we're going to have a wonderful welcome for our students, right, when they come to the area. And we've also been working with our business leaders, right, in order to do the same thing. And so I guess I can stop there. You don't want me to go the whole meeting, okay? But once again, we'd like to thank all of our partners in the community who've helped us to come this far. Thank you.
Zvi, I have a quick question. Do you anticipate more students staying on campus through the weekend? It used to be that a lot would commute back.
Oh, yes. I understand what you're saying. Yes, I do. Okay. One of the things that has happened, I think, for all 4 colleges in the associated colleges is that we've changed the semester so that it's a once in and once out process. So the students are coming at SUNY Canton. They'll be starting their classes on August 31st. Most will be arriving the week of the 24th through the 31st. But like I said, we had a couple of early arrivers for various reasons who came today. And once they come in, we're discouraging them strongly from leaving the North Country area. Okay. Normally we'd have a fall break during the term. There's no fall break this year. Okay. Once we start, we're going straight through to Thanksgiving. And at Thanksgiving, the students will return home and they'll have a nice Thanksgiving with their families, right? And they'll take their stuff with them, okay, because the rest of the semester, okay, is going to be offered online. So the last couple of lectures or review sessions or, whatever it might be for the particular course will be offered online, and then they'll take their finals online. And the reason we're doing this is, again, so that it's once in and once out without minimizing the opportunity to, either, come across the virus somewhere else and bring it here or bring it to their homes. Okay, we think this is the safest possible way. And all 4 of the colleges in the area are doing it this way. And we've also worked very closely with our colleagues at the other 3 colleges to coordinate our efforts to make sure that we're all in sync with each other.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Does anybody have anything for Zvi? Okay. Well, President Fox, you're up, Bill.
Thank you, Mike. And let me also say thanks, not just for the opportunity, but thanks for the summer, Mike. We've been meeting constantly. Z and I are a little bit like Hope and Crosby, kind of the old road movies. And it's been wonderful. Also want to give tremendous credit for his leadership to Chief Sandomal. We have benefited immensely from several conversations with local law enforcement about the return of students into the community. Very constructive and very positive and very reassuring. So I won't belabor the obvious. We are already starting to test, as V mentioned about his campus today. We did 400 tests today, 200 staff, 200 students. The St. Lawrence plan and model is to spread the calendar and spread the enrollment. So our academic year is going to be basically 11 months. We begin our first classes in 9 days, August 26th. And so we're beginning to bring students in incrementally. We've had international students on campus for more than a week now. We wanted to quarantine them for 2 weeks before they were, had some license to move around on campus. We have students from many of the travel list states, but there are fewer than 100 who need to quarantine in New York State before coming to campus. And we feel that's well underway. Because of the opportunity to do a 3-semester academic year, we have de-densified our fall enrollment. So actually living on campus will be down about 600 from what would be the normal campus occupancy. So we'll be around 1,650, and about 275 students will be fully remote. In January, we'll have another, 1,800 coming in, overlapping with some in the fall. Most of our students on campus this fall are first year and seniors. Those 2 classes are fully vested to be here. And we'll have, I think, about 40 students who would be commuters. Anybody living on campus or working on campus, at least those working, well, it's implied, but certainly the students, in order to be on campus, have to sign the Laurentian Pact, which is a social contract about behavior, about expectations, about our values, and how this has to work. I'm not going to kid anybody in the meeting tonight that the eye of the needle gets smaller and smaller each day to thread. You already heard about UNC Chapel Hill after a week pulling the plug and going fully remote. We are doing our best to ensure that does not happen to St. Lawrence and SUNY Canton. And that's where the students have to own it and have to lead the process. And we've done a lot of education over the weeks and months about our expectations, and feel confident that if any place has a chance to bring this together safely, it's the village of Canton with its student population. About half our faculty will start off teaching fully remote. The others will be doing hybrid classes, a mix of remote and in person. All the precautions that Zvi described, we're also doing on campus with our distancing and our dining services, so that we're mitigating as much as possible the risk of contagion or clustering that is so threatening and dangerous. We have about 140 rooms for quarantine, and that will be the measure of how we're doing in this process. Our students get tested on arrival. They'll be tested again next week, and then we'll be testing monthly. Our lab services are being provided by the Broad Institute at MIT and Harvard. So a land courier will be going there daily for the next couple of weeks, and we expect to have results in 24 hours of delivery. So we have, I think, a plan that is, I think, well integrated with the values of Canton and the responsibilities that we feel toward our community. We certainly want to make sure that, Josie, Sergi's, Little Italy are making plenty of pizza in the next couple of weeks. We want those businesses to be the indicator of a vital local economy. The Brewer Bookstore is now open to the public as a retail operation, and just today we know that gyms in New York State will be allowed to reopen, and we have a plan for our facilities to be used by community members with all the appropriate guidelines in place and the distancing and mask wearing and hand sanitizing. So let me leave it at that. You know, I know people are always interested in how we're doing in terms of the finances. We're tuition driven. I just finished talking to our CFO, and we're running right on target with our fall budget. So it's been a very intense summer, but the hard work is certainly beginning to bear fruit in the harvest season. So we're you know, right where we need to be. Mayor Dalton, I'm open for questions or thoughts that any of the members make.
I appreciate the comments from both of you. You know, for me, congratulations on this, you know, being your last year headed into retirement. It's unfortunate that this is going to be an interesting year, but I would like to be the first to congratulate you here in this forum for your upcoming retirement. Does anybody have any thoughts, concerns, questions for President Fox? Anna?
Yes, hello, and thank you so much for coming and for sharing with us. I really appreciate that. I guess I'm wondering what your communications are to the students about your expectations for them in terms of their behavior in the community. Mask wearing, distancing, all of that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah, there, you know, we're perhaps risking overloading the circuits as far as communications, because I think this is a case where you just cannot overdo it, overstate it. So we've been very consistent and I think very abundant in getting that message out. We're like, as V has described, it's a once in, once gone form of life. Very restricted on travel. I think we're, you know, we don't want to create, you know, the minimum security kind of atmosphere where they only get an hour yard time every day or something like that. But with that freedom they have, there's a lot of responsibility. And so students will be issued masks, they'll be getting, you know, kits when they arrive. You know, we're all going to be wearing masks on campus to, you know, demonstrate that it's something you just get used to. So I think, you know, the students at St. Lawrence and SUNY Canton, you know, they've been living in this unthinkable stretch of their lives for a while now. And, you know, we have, I think, gone as far as we can in terms of, you know, expressing our expectations. You know, I think in some ways this is going to be a return to a campus that might look like it was 50 years ago, you know, in loco parentis. You know, all eyes are going to be on the behavior, and we hope we've got a buddy system so that it's positive. You know, we want people to understand that you wear a mask, you know, you're protecting your professor, you're protecting me, you're protecting your coach. We've already got yard signs up on campus about, you know, protect St. Lawrence County business. So we're definitely elevating the game as far as social responsibility and what's owed to the community.
And Anna, I don't know if you meant to ask at Canton as well, but one of the things that Bill and I did together, and the mayor joined us and several other folks from the community, was sending out a letter to people in the community saying, here's what the expectations are for our students. And, you know, and Bill just talked about them. But we also hope that the same expectations will be, you know, when they go to a store for everybody in that store, right? Because we have to keep each other safe, right? We're all in it together. And so, you know, the people who work in the stores, the other customers in the stores, our students when they go into the stores, right? They all need to socially distance. They all need to wear the masks. They all need to do what's right for our community. And so that's something that we've emphasized together, right? For both of our campuses and within the community. And, you know, if you see something untoward, let us know, okay? And we'll do something about it, okay? But, you know, we're counting on every business owner and in the area, every restaurant owner to make sure that, you know, they're doing what's safe in their establishment as well, because we can only make this work if we do it together.
Thank you, Zvi.
Can I comment, Mayor Dalton?
Absolutely.
So I would love to thank both of you for working so hard with your teams to make this work. I'm in a fun position where I have a daughter at St. Lawrence and a niece at SUNY Canton, and they are so eager to get back to campus and to be able to participate in their college experience. So I think that messages have been received, and I know from both of them that there's a lot of talk among their friends who are coming back about what the regulations are, about what the new rules are going to be. And I do think that messages are being received and they want to be here. So, and they want it to be successful. So I'm hopeful that given their eagerness to be back, that, you know, we'll have a lot of students who are keeping each other accountable to make this all work. So again, thank you for your teams. I know that it's been countless hours for months to make this work. And we really appreciate, as a village board and a community, you know, all of your work. So thanks.
Thanks, Beth.
Okay, Carol, you want something?
I just have one quick question. Something you said, Zvi, made me wonder, because I live on Main Street. So I do get to interact with quite a number of students in my front yard, in my backyard. You said if we see something untoward, let you know. It's an interesting question. Who do we let know? Who is there a point person on the campuses we should call in the interest of allowing our police to be police? I don't want to be calling them every night, but will there be a contact person on each campus, and will that be publicly shared so we know whom to reach out to?
Well, Carol, thanks for asking that question. You know, we do have a contact person in terms of safety, and his name is Derek Converse, but that's kind of for more general issues of safety. Okay, normally if there's, you know, an issue, basically one of two people tend to get called. Okay, one is me, and you're always welcome to call me. Okay, and the other is our Vice President for Student Life, who's Courtney Bish. Okay, and you know, if it's a specialized issue of some sort, you know, that it could be somebody else. We haven't really thought about having a single point of contact. I mean, Lenore Vanderzee, who's on this call, is also our Executive Director for University Relations. And so she's a good person to call. And if she's not the right one, she can surely tell you who would be for any particular issue.
And for St. Lawrence, probably the simplest way to communicate is our Chief Safety and Security Officer, Pat Gagnon. It's a 24/7 line. There's always somebody picking up the phone within 2 rings. So if there's a issue, Pat is actually under the Student Life umbrella of operations, and so he's, you know, he's the one that is the best conduit.
And of course,
I wonder if that would be information that you could share. I know there's been, as you said, Bill, communications aplenty, but there can never be too many. But really, honestly, thinking about me living with students on both sides, and, you know, already this season, not since school started, there's been backyard parties that were fully unmasked. That's before people signed pledges. It was a long time ago. But I do think it would be nice for someone like me to be able to know, rather than calling Jim or calling the police, to say Pat Gagnon is the person to call, or whomever is the person to call, and for the public to be able to know that.
That's an
Tim, you have a
excellent
question?
suggestion, and we'll take you up on it.
Sure.
Right, thanks.
Thank you.
Tim?
I'm sorry, Mary, did you just call on?
Yes.
Yeah, just one of the challenges, I appreciate both universities making that available. But the challenge there is then you're leaving it in the hands of the citizen to try and determine which university, if any university, is the source of the problem. Now, if the students are out on West Main Street, there's a decent chance that they're more likely to be SUNY Canton than St. Lawrence, but you know, how do I know if I just see some students downtown, which if either university is the problem? So it really, that's a challenge we need to try and figure out.
And Tim, that's, I guess why I said we're all in this together, right? Because, there are people here who are of college age who aren't going to St. Lawrence or to SUNY Canton, just as you say. Okay, but, we hope that, if you see somebody going, for example, without a mask, right, that the first thing that people will do will be, polite and say, you really should wear a mask, right? And, and I think in most cases that will be enough to remind people. This is kind of a new normal, right, for people. They may not be quite as diligent as you'd hope in the very beginning, but we certainly are going to keep reminding them on our campus and insisting that they, do the right thing. And so all of us working together, I think, will give the very best results.
Okay. Any other comments? Well, gentlemen, thank you. Appreciate you coming to our meeting and updating us on where you're headed. I was tested myself today over at St. Lawrence, so it's always an interesting experience with that thing. So
I'm going tomorrow morning, so I hope I do as well as you do, Mike.
good luck.
Thanks.
I get to
Mike,
go
I'd like
tomorrow
to
too.
Again, yeah. And Mike, I'd like to again thank you for the many times you've met with us and helped facilitate things. Right, I know I'm speaking for Bill as well. And it's really been a wonderful partnership
Well,
with
it's
folks in the village.
an effort gone into this by many people, and I just happen to be sitting here at the head of the table right now. I also like to thank you for sponsoring the food distribution up at SUNY Canton. Lenore worked hard on that, and I think it was a perfect site for that to be done. So
We were happy to do it, and
I
we
believe
want to thank all the people who donated.
absolutely. So
Yep.
Okay,
Thank you all very much.
Take care.
Okay.
Okay, we're going to move on with our agenda here. And before I get going too much further, I believe there's a birthday out there today. Yeah, he's smiling. Happy birthday, Jerry.
Thank you.
Oh, who knew? No singing. Happy birthday, Jerry.
Happy birthday.
I got that.
I got my Medicare card as my birthday present today.
Oh, dear.
There are 2 items to add to the agenda under new business. Item F will be the annual second notice fee resolution. And G will be approved fire department member James Burdick. Okay, so first item is to approve the minutes of July 20th. Need a motion?
So moved.
Klaus, the second?
Second.
Beth? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Next item is the acceptance of department head reports, and we will just go right into those, and then we will accept them afterwards.
Stop.
Little change in our planning around here. Okay, on top is Director of Economic Development, Lee.
Hello,
Hi there.
I'm here.
Lee.
Out
Hey
in the
there.
backyard, huh?
Do you want me to sort of summarize, or I don't have a whole lot to add to my report?
If there's anything to add, that's
I don't have a lot to add. The only thing that I might point out is that I have learned that the regional economic development councils are not going to be doing the grant cycle this year. So I think we maybe suspected that, but I've gotten confirmation of that. So they are working though in surveying the businesses, trying to get some feedback on what the needs are so they can help to formulate what the programming and things might be for next year. So we've gotten that out to our mailing list through our newsletter. I think that's the only real thing I have to add. Dairy Queen is opening September 18th. We're working on a grand opening. That's exciting. We're getting the elevator project at Canton Housing is getting ready to go out to bid. The water project's getting going. So we've got things going on.
Good deal. Any questions?
Exciting.
Any questions for Lee? Anna?
Hi, Lee. Will you have access to that survey data? Will your office have access to that survey data about the business, like relevant to local business?
North Country. It's the survey's coming out from the regional council, which is the North Country region. I would hope that once they have results, they would make them shareable. I believe it's a Google Doc that it's being done in, but I don't know that if that means that we can see results. Maybe only the creator can, but we still meet regularly with the developers on a regional basis. So I would hope that that information is shared once it's compiled. I can keep you posted for sure.
Great, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
So the water project has started, the Maple Hill?
They have started to move equipment in. There's equipment over at the pavilion. I think they're starting to mobilize and they should be starting any day now.
Right, they were to be mobilizing at some point in the neighborhood of August 10th. So, yeah, we're getting ready to get started on it. As Mike said, I think they're kind of getting things in place and getting equipment over to the site and things. So it's starting, and their anticipated completion is October 1. So it's gonna go pretty quick.
It should. Anything else for Lee?
No, thanks, Lee.
Welcome.
Okay, it looks like the historian is up next. Linda. Oh, there you go.
Okay, you get my report nice and early now because I have to have it into the town a week before you meet. So a lot of things are going on. It was pretty complete if you have any questions, but what happened yesterday was really nice. Ruthie Merrill, who's 88, no, actually she's 89, she's gonna be 90 in January, called and said, can I please come over and sit on your deck? And that's what I've realized now. I can start interviewing these seniors. They can either come home to get out of their house, or I can go to their house and sit outside. So that was a big plus for us. She was here 2 hours and we talked about politics. And what was interesting, we're both from different parties, but we could talk. So because she'll tell you exactly why she feels the way she does, and she respects why I feel the way I do. So it's going to be an interesting road ahead, and I'm looking forward to having the people come right at, I'm only 2.5 miles out of the village. So on nice days, Helen Kenyon came and said, this deck is so big we could square dance. So I'm enjoying getting back with the seniors who so desperately need to get out of their house. So that's going to be my form of interviewing right now till the weather changes. Any questions on my report? I wanted to put that poem in because Jim Todd was a huge mentor to me in it. I thought that poem was perfect for this time of year on solitude. So, any other
Very
questions?
nice.
I thought it was a great poem. Thank you for sharing it.
Oh, yeah. Perfect at this time. Thank you.
And I love that you get to do your interviews and it's a win-win for everybody to, get them out and a little bit social too. I love that.
Big white driving around. I have no idea where he's going. He's 102. He comes to the office once a week and he goes up and down those stairs. He says the handicap seat is too slow. You'd rather walk up. 102 this man is in his mind. And if Anna and some people don't know, mostly maybe Cindy, he started White's Florist in the 1950s. Never finished high school at Canton High School. He went right to SUNY Canton State School and took forestry. And he went on and did other things. I just love these people that are in my life at this point. So thank you. Have a good night. I might have to leave. I have to pick up a car, drop off a car at Barstow's.
That's okay.
Thanks, Linda.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thanks.
Okay, Jim Pfeiffer got his report. Looks like Sally. We have any money? Oh, you're not, you take yourself off mute. There you go.
I'm off. We do have a little bit of money. I did get an email today. I wanted to update you a little bit on sales tax. That I know this is a drop, but it's not as drastic a drop as we expected. That the local sales tax collections dropped 8.2% in July. And that's really not as drastic as I thought, but obviously it is a drop. So I did want to keep you updated on that. The mayor and I have been working on the fleet management enterprise. We're ready to move ahead on that this week, I believe.
Yep.
We've got our new computers and I'm using the new laptop and I'm assuming Kara's using hers. A lot of things are happening. I did share with you our collections for taxes, which is surprising to us that the collections are actually up from last year. So I think things are positive.
Well, it's nice to hear that.
Yes.
Any questions for Sally?
Thanks, Sally.
Yep.
Okay, code enforcement. Where are you there?
I'm here.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah, I don't have anything to add to my report, but other than the fountain project has started and Tyler's got it all tore apart and he's starting to rebuild it now. So we'll see just how quickly this progresses. Other than that, if you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them.
I didn't hear back from you today. Did you get a chance to get over to the
Tallman Drive? I talked to the owner Friday. I went right over and I called them and they're going to move the dirt, but there was, again, nobody there today, I think because it was raining, the construction workers didn't show up.
Okay.
But he was going to meet me there. Yes, today. I'm going to be gone tomorrow, so I'll meet up with him Wednesday and I'll get the stuff moved that he put over onto the village property.
Okay. Well, we just want to make sure it's not in the way of progressing with the water project. So.
Yep, they shouldn't be putting stuff on other people's property without their permission anyway. So.
Well.
But I'll take care of it.
We probably would have let them if it wasn't for the water project. So.
Yeah, and I don't think it's there to be permanent. It was just when they dug the foundation and the excavator just happened to back it there. So, but I'll get them to move it.
That's fine. Sounds good. Any other questions for code enforcement? Very good. Moving on. Looks like police are on the next. Anything to add, Jim, or?
Just a couple of real quick things. First of all, hello, everyone. Secondly, our new patrol car is going to be delivered this Friday. So we'll get that in our on our parking lot and get rid of one of the old rusty heaps. The other thing I wanted to add was I just wanted to thank both colleges, unfortunately, they're not here anymore to thank them personally, but both colleges I just find we're really lucky with this police reform. It's takes up a lot of my time and a lot of my thought process, I guess, thinking about it a lot. But I really feel that we're quite lucky to have the people that we do in this village and the colleges and the resources. We've had some really wonderful people reach out to us just to offer their thoughts. Meeting with both colleges and other local law enforcement. We've had several Zoom meetings with them over the last couple of months that I've got a lot of good information from that. And of course, our elected officials and the police committee and the mayor, just everybody's been really supportive. And I think this is actually, it's going to be a long process to some degree, but it'll be a lot easier because of everyone I just mentioned. So anyway, I just want to say thank you to everybody.
Any questions for Jim?
Thank you, Jim. No.
Okay, moving along. Oh, Cindy. The assessor, Cindy Brangan.
Oh, hi, good evening.
I had a little problem getting your report because it was locked. No? You did it?
I didn't.
No.
I believe that's how I put it in, so that's my fault.
Okay.
I'll share it with you in a little bit.
Okay.
Okay, so you didn't read my report?
I did.
Oh, okay. Okay, well, I really didn't have anything to add to my report. I was wondering if anybody had any questions.
No, we did get notification that there's going to be 2 challenges to assessments.
That was in the report. I also jumped on Trulia and started checking things out, Cindy. Thank you for that information.
Okay, you're welcome.
I have a question.
Okay, go ahead.
From your report, I got the sense that there might be a significant proportion of homes in the village that may be underassessed, or that, do you believe that? Is that a fair characterization?
Yeah, that's based on the statistics here that when I ran those reports, that's where it's coming in, that the low value homes are underassessed in the village. In the village, we've been bringing in a lot of sales in the village, and the equalization rate keeps dropping, and they keep coming in. I just gave Kara a handful of sales today, and we were looking at, and they came in over and above what they're assessed at. And like we said, we're doing the data collections, the most important thing right now. We're going through all the records and making sure what's out there is what we have, and we're finding a lot of things that are not on our files and they're on the house. And also there's a lot of square footage errors. They were done by hand, and I don't know if they used a calculator or what, but when you do it, when we start putting the sketches in on the computer and, you know, running the square footage of the homes, we're coming in, you know, with square footage errors. For the most part, they're coming in, you know, a lot less than what we have. And then all of a sudden we'll get a sale come in on the MLS, and they'll have 3, 4 bedrooms, and we only have 2 on the file, you know, and then the bathroom count will have, 1.5, and then they'll say, oh no, there's 3 full bathrooms, and like, we're just finding things and stuff. And like you said, the most important thing to do here, if anything, is to go through this data and look through every parcel and make sure what it is, you know. So yeah, this analysis is done every July. We look at the analysis of what the sales are, and Canton has a good number of sales every year for analysis, and it's a lot of good data here. And we and the numbers, they did drop from, we're at 90 this year, and it looks like it's going to be 87 next year, but the state, there's a leeway. They will usually let you go 3 to 5%, leeway. So we might just stay at 90 next year. Well, it depends upon where the state's figures come in. You know, they do their analysis, and when they come back and we discuss and we see, you know, where we should put the equalization rate. So there's a good chance it might stay at 90. So because it's not that much of a drop, you know, from what we're looking at, but we'll see. We'll see.
Thank you.
Okay.
Anything else for Cindy? Go here. Rec report. Here's where it went. Jim. Hi.
Good evening, everyone. I did have something to add. I spoke to the foreman for the water main that's going across this afternoon. They're going to break route on Monday morning.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep, no problem. After meeting with the Recreation Committee last week, we came to a decision to close on September 7th. That is, we'll finish the day on through the 7th. That's Labor Day. I think I'm good on that. So it'll be closed after 7 o'clock on the 7th of September, and that'll be it for the season. That'll give us some time to do some finish up some projects we had out there that started before we opened it. As I indicated at the town meeting last week, attendance has been down significantly. Obviously, the pandemic has had a hand in this. And with that, the kayak rental has also been down. As President Fox, he kind of stole my thunder. He indicated that effective 24 August, gyms, fitness facilities, and even fitness classes will be allowed to reopen. It is on a case-by-case basis. For us, Department of Health would have a say on that and would have to conduct an inspection. That, excuse me, that information just came out today. I did make a cursory call to Department of Health once I heard it. They don't know yet what the process is going to be because they weren't given a heads up that this was coming. I would assume that it's going to require a reduction in the number of people you would allow to have in the facility. Obviously, mask wearing, which by now, if you're not doing that, it says more about you than I need to know. And responsibilities for the owners or the people that operate those facilities to conduct cleaning and sanitization at every turn. So that's going to be a fleshing out process, obviously. I hope to have more information. I have been giving some thought process to how we get some of the fitness things that we had going on before back in and back going, but right now it's really too early to make a call on that, in my personal opinion. Also with the Recreation Committee, we did discuss reopening of the pavilion for winter ice events. We did not set a solid date on that. I'm still working with our major stakeholders for them to develop a plan on what they would like to see with the ice. And then we'll see if we can fit that around our requirements and then see if we can make something work. I think that's all I have.
Well, there's one more big piece that you have.
Well, I didn't want to say anything because I wasn't sure where we are. But I have submitted my letter of resignation to Mayor Dalton this morning. My wife has gotten a position out in California that allows us to be closer to her family, and there's some medical issues going on there that we want to be close by for. So my last day will be September 4th.
Okay.
Well,
thanks, Jim.
Congratulations to her. And as I said to you earlier, thank you for all you've done to help us keep the rec program moving along.
Yeah, we definitely appreciate all your efforts, Jim. Thank you.
Yep. Good luck out there.
So he submitted his letter of resignation, and I was, let him say something about it today. Thanks, Jim. Any other questions for Jim? Okay.
You really can't mess with me now because I basically quit on it, so.
Listen.
Okay, so I need a motion to accept department head reports.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
Second,
did you get that? Okay,
whoever.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, committee reports. What do we have for committees to report? That are not on the agenda anywhere.
You'll be delighted to know that I have very little.
Oh,
I have one thing that's not really a committee, or if it is, I don't know what committee it is, but a lot of you have been involved in the email flurry about Canton Cares signs. Lee has been distributing signs from the IDA that were mentioned earlier about, supporting Canton or county businesses. We have a design and yard signs coming that say, Canton Cares, we take care of each other, wear a mask, and keep a social distance. We have flyers that we just picked up today that Lee and Jenny will distribute around to businesses, people who want them in their windows, really anyone. And then we've ordered 5 banners to put sort of at the entrances of Canton to remind people that safe social distancing, wearing a mask, and we say no to racism. So I think those will be good messages for people coming into the community, people living in the community. Appreciate everybody's feedback on all those. That's in the works. The other thing that I really want to say today is another new Zoom day. The good news is nobody can notice, but Kara is our moderator today. After getting this whole Zoom function moving, the Communications and Technology Committee, as most of you know, Anna and I moderated the town meetings, and Karen and Bob moderated our meetings. I just need to say our clerk's office is so cooperative, so helpful, so willing to take on new things, try new things, test it, explore, goof around with it with us. It's really, especially as a joint committee, it makes, I know, Anna and me very proud of our clerks and how great you are to work with and how well you function together. So big kudos to the clerk's office.
Absolutely.
oh, big shout out.
Thank you.
And patient to boot.
Yeah.
Any other committees out there that? Okay. Communications and information, I don't have anything at this point. The only thing would have been the letter, and that's taken care of. Old business, Minor Street update. The only thing I can give you on that is that they're progressing. I ran up there the other day. They're getting ready to pour, to do the curbing. I have to talk to the foreman to see where he's at and to verify where they are with the plans as they exist right now. Things have gotten a little complicated the past couple of days, so plan on doing some work on that tomorrow.
Great. Mike, I will appreciate that because I know I've been dogging you about that a little bit. And if there's any way that I can help tomorrow, I'd be happy to.
Okay. The weather, I think, is playing a little bit of a role, and also timing on when they could get certain pieces of the paving done too. So. Ethics. Been quite a topic lately. Where are we headed with that right now?
So if you recall, we had passed our law and we're satisfied with that moving forward. And then there was some discussion of perhaps changing things up a little bit. And instead of the village and town having our own ethics board, we would use the county's ethics board. I think some of the recent situations with the county and with their ethics board have made us rethink that. And at the town board meeting, there was a lot of discussion about this. And I think the upshot was that we're going to go back to Plan A, have a village and town Board of Ethics. As it happens, we have already asked our two people, and they've said yes. You may recall Katie Halloran Murphy and Ryan Ames. The town will need to ask two, and then it will be up to us, the village and town, to come up with a shared, one that we nominate together. Our thought had been then that, and Jerry, this may be the first time you're hearing this, but I asked the question at the town meeting whether it would be appropriate for Jerry and Eric, the town's attorney, to then work with that board and help them get know what their next steps would be. Essentially, what we need to do is keep ourselves out of this. We don't want to be seen, none of us, as neither of our boards want to be seen as in any way having anything to do with guiding or suggesting or requiring or manipulating the process of setting up how the ethics process works and reporting and consequences and all that. One discussion was that we would use Romer's office, which we both share, to be the counsel for the ethics board. Apparently they do that for other communities. But I think that's what my understanding of where we stand is, that the town is going to come up with two names as well. We'll come up with a fifth, get them together with Jerry and Eric, and really charge them with coming up with the process. How's that grab you, Jerry?
That's fine. Eric and I have had some discussions about that. One other thought about counsel for the board. The law as it currently reads says that the village attorney and the town attorney will provide counsel. Eric and I had briefly discussed the possibility of the village attorney providing counsel to the board if there was an ethics issue involving a town matter, and the town attorney providing counsel if it's involving a village matter, just to have a degree of separation, unless the boards wanted the village attorney to be strictly on village matters and the town attorney on town matters. But we could have a cross purpose in that way. That way the two attorneys would not be at loggerheads if there was an issue, we had a disagreement. The other thing is that we would need, in any event, to make a slight revision or an update to the law to talk about enforcement of the financial disclosure piece. We have that the financial disclosure statement is to be filed with the clerk. I mean, our village law says it's to be filed with the village clerk, and then passed on to the ethics board. But there's no piece in the law that talks about enforcement or who would enforce it. We could pass that off to the ethics board to do that if you wanted to, or you keep it yourselves as part of your village board duties. And I think in answer to a question that might have come across one of the emails, the law as it's currently written says the ethics board is there to provide advisory opinions, and then the relevant board would then take action on that advisory opinion depending on what the issue is. So I assume that's where you want to keep it. I think Eric and I had asked you at one point before, what exactly are you envisioning your ethics board to be doing? What role do you want them to play? So right now you've got the ethics board as an advisory opinion, which I think is consistent with what the law provides anyway. So if you had an idea that they would do something more than that, I think we need to talk about that.
I think that this is just me speaking. I think we should proceed as the law is written. And I think that it's great to have you and Eric working with them and suggesting that, for example, I would say make the recommendation of your idea of the village town attorneys and see where it gets with them. I think to the extent possible, now that we have established the code and the people who are going to people that, we should leave the rest to them as much as we can.
Okay. Before we make any other changes to that law, I want to make sure we get it where we want it. And then if there's a few details, that's fine, but it does take a bit of an effort to get a law change. So
Right.
we want to make sure we're in where we need to be. So
It'd be nice to not have to. It'd be nice to think we got it right the first time.
yeah, there may be a little tweak, but I'm good with the direction we're headed. Okay. Next item is the Executive Order 203 by the governor. There has been no guidance issued as far as I know and to date by those that were supposed to issue that guidance. So what we've decided to do is forge ahead. I am leaning pretty heavily on Beth and Anna as part of that committee to work with to get this accomplished. There's a couple of reasons for me, having to be careful. My wife's having surgery here coming up on the 25th, and I suspect that I'm going to be tied up, and I will be doing my very best to pay attention to what's going on with the village as a whole. And I think Beth and Anna are, well positioned and qualified to work their way through this, and with Jim. So we have met several times via Zoom, putting a program together the way we think it ought to roll out, making sure it meets the standards that we know exist right now. I think Beth and Anna have worked on a little presentation that will lay it out for you. So Anna, I think Anna, you're gonna run that. So Anna, you're on. Jim, if you need to jump in, please do. But this will illustrate where we are and where we're headed.
Can everybody see that full screen?
I can.
Yes.
Excellent, thank you. So thanks, Mayor. And I think there were two things I wanted to say as introduction, which is, first of all, of course, all the best to your wife. So I guess there's three things. But Beth and I think I can speak for Beth in this case. We are most happy to be working on this and to be working with you and Jim. That in fact, the fact that the guidance has not come down is frustrating and is the disclaimer as to how this may change, but that we really wanted to, as you said, to forge ahead and to, in fact, develop and interpret the executive order the best that we could in the absence of the guidance, and to develop a plan that spoke not only to the substance, but also the spirit. And we're both very happy, like I said, to be working, with Jim and with Mayor on doing this. And so I'm just going to talk for a couple of minutes about what needs to be done, who needs to do it, and a little bit of the process as we have envisioned it. Again, with the disclaimer that things may change, either because of, guidance comes down, or because perhaps our community, through the process of community engagement, we come up with some better ways of doing things. But in terms of what needs to be done per the executive order is that we need to review current police policy and procedure, and then develop a plan to improve those policies and procedures in order to, and I want to highlight this, to address the community's needs, promote community engagement to create trust, and address any racial bias and disproportionate policing of communities of color. And so I think that this is, as we've been going very deliberately and carefully and thoughtfully in terms of how is it that we create a plan that addresses this, we really do see this as a process of not just doing this evaluation, but also working with the community on a process that will support our community, will promote this trust between our law enforcement and our community, and of course to address any areas that need to be improved. And so that's the second requirement. The third is to develop a plan to implement recommended improvements. This plan must be offered for public comment, and the village board needs to ratify the plan. And I'll save the timeline for Beth, but spoiler alert, the deadline is April 1st. So we really actually don't have that much time. So in terms of who needs to do this, the executive order outlines that this review and plan for improvements must include the village police department. Of course, that would make sense, as well as community stakeholders. And that the plan for improvements must be created with input from community members, with emphasis in areas of high numbers of police and community interaction, as well as nonprofit and faith communities, the offices of the district attorney and public defender, and local elected officials. The community is also engaged to provide public comment on the plan. And then again, as I said a minute ago, the village board must ratify the plan. So this is meant to be an inclusive process whereby stakeholders are at the table and engaged in dialogue, and people in the community who wish to have input have opportunity to do so. And so in the spirit of trying to put some organization to how to do that, we developed a 4-phase plan. The first phase would be to constitute an advisory committee of our local police department, as well as stakeholders in the community. And in this phase, we review and recommend improvements to policy and procedure per the executive order. Then in the second phase, the advisory committee will consult with a diverse and wide group of community members and then incorporate that input into these recommendations. And then we'll offer a plan for implementing the recommendations. In the third phase, that plan is offered for public comment. And in the fourth phase, the final phase, the village board would ratify, and we would communicate to the state that we had in fact undergone this process. So that is where we begin, and I will turn it over to Beth.
Thank you. And Anna, it has been a pleasure to work with you and the mayor and the chief to come up with this plan. I think that we know that it's very important and we need to proceed without the guidance. So again, I'll just reiterate, if guidance comes down and we need to be flexible, we certainly will be. As we were talking, we really decided that what we needed to do was really outline what the charge is to an advisory committee so that we were clear, what the expectations are. And in recruitment of this advisory committee, we have a framework to work within. So as you can see, there's several different elements to the charge. Like Anna said, we have to review the police policies and procedures and recommend improvements. And part of that is to implement a plan for gathering community input and, with the existing policies and procedures. And then, developing that plan for implementation of improvement, and then again, presenting it for public comment and village board ratification. So there are definitely different elements that committee members need to know are part of the charge of what they would be asked to do. So if we can go to the next. Perfect. There we go. So different considerations that we had. One of the biggest is the time constraint and the timeline. We have to have this done by April 21st. We need it to be a collaborative process in which the advisory committee works as a team. As we're recruiting an advisory committee, we want them to know that it absolutely will be a team approach because it'll be significant work, and we don't want anybody to think that it's going to be on their shoulders to get one, specific thing done. It needs to be a team approach. And the advisory committee has to be a broad cross-section of residents in the community. And that's something that we have to be really intentional about and know is really important. So, people can be part of the advisory committee, but we also want community members to know if they don't have time to be part of or commit to an advisory committee, there will be multiple opportunities in different mediums and methods to actually give us feedback so that we are encouraging voices from, a cross section of our community. And we want to hear all those voices. So if we can go to the next slide. So here's our timeline. And in parts of it, we were feeling like it was aggressive, but to get the work that we feel that needs to be done, we have to be. So right now we're in phase 1, and we are constituting the advisory committee. So there will be an invitation, out there, actually on our website, perhaps right now, for people to, let us know that they might be interested. So that's what's happening right now. By the 13th, it'll be constituted. September 14th, the advisory committee will be established and we'll hold our convening meeting. September through middle of October, that advisory committee will do the work of evaluating those policies and procedures and making those preliminary recommendations. And then something that's for the greater community to know, between October 20th and January 31st, the advisory committee is going to develop a plan to gather community input. So again, we foresee that there will be multiple ways and mediums in which people can give the advisory committee that feedback and that input so that that can be incorporated into some final recommendations that will be developed in February. So by February 28th, we'll have a finalized recommendation and plan for implementation. And then we have a couple of dates for public comment and public hearing in March. And then by our March 15th meeting, we'd like to be able to ratify this document, and plan for implementation of policy changes if there, whatever those might be. So to get it done by April 1st, that's the plan right now. Again, if guidelines come from Albany, who knows, what might need to be changed, but we thought that this was a pretty good plan. So I guess we'll go to the last one. So this is just our thoughts on, how to really constitute the advisory committee. And again, it has to include a cross-section of community members. We want different voices from both community members and, folks who are representing the colleges, local businesses, nonprofits, faith-based and community organizations. And we want there to be diverse backgrounds, identity, and perspectives represented, because we feel like that is going to offer us the best conversations in terms of evaluating and really engaging in this process. So we are inviting people to express their interest in serving in this capacity by filling out the web form, the interest form that's on the website, and you can see that it's right there, and it should be up, or by contacting any one of us who are on this the Public Safety Committee. So one of the things that we talked about is when I'm asked to do something, I want to know what time commitments are and what expectations are. So it was important for us to have that framework so people know when work will need to be done and when it'll be most intense. We suspect that, there will be bi-weekly meetings. There'll be a couple hours, for those meetings, during those bi-weekly meetings. And that will all be determined by the advisory committee once we get that together. So we're in phase 1. We're excited to start the process. And I don't know, Anna, did I miss anything? Did we cover most of it?
No, I think you covered it. Thank you.
Yeah.
I would just add that the that PowerPoint or this document that we just shared, plus the interest form, are live on our website now. You know, we invite people to let us know if they are interested in working with us. And I don't know if Jim maybe had anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to say, you know, I'm really, truly thankful for all of the hard work that Anna and Beth and Mayor put into this. This is amazing. You know, got a lot of good information, a lot of good things to get out and get started. And I'm excited to get started as well. You know, and I know I have some awesome partners to tackle this. This is a huge deal. So it's taking some of the weight off my shoulders, and I really appreciate it. So thank you both very much. Thank you all very much.
Yeah.
Well, it's going to take some weight off of my shoulders too, because I have some commitments that I have to face myself. The important thing on all of this is that we're looking for balance. This advisory committee, you know, we want people to tell us and fill out the forms and that, but will only be so many seats at the table, and you know, I don't know that that's defined yet. You know, we did a preliminary list, and that could be a pretty big table right now to get a solid advisory committee that represents the type of people and groups that we're looking for. So we may end up having to reach out a little bit ourselves. So,
is your convening meeting going to be on September 14th? Is that the plan?
That's the plan.
Will it be a virtual meeting, or are you going to wait to see what happens?
I think we're going to plan a virtual meeting.
I think that's probably, I think it's probably smartest at this point.
Okay, and at what point are you going to send out the invitations and set the time for the meeting? I imagine it'll be an open meeting, right?
Well, that's a really good question. No, I don't believe it will. I mean, I believe the advisory committee will not be at the meeting.
Okay.
And in terms of sending out, thanks for asking that. Beth and I were fiercely texting you saying, we didn't put a deadline in our PowerPoint.
Oh yeah, September 1.
We're hoping to have people fill out that interest form and to be able to constitute the board by the 1st, so that we can, or the deadline for the 1st, and then within the next few days, we'd get the invitations out.
Right. So this can be considered the first public invitation for people who are interested in working on the advisory committee. And like Mayor Dalton said, you know, I'm hopeful that we have, you know, a flood of people who can commit the time. And, you know, then that's a really good problem to have. But again, there will be a limited number of seats, so we can't guarantee that people will become part of the advisory committee, but we can guarantee that there will be multiple opportunities for everybody to have input and to review, you know, what the advisory committee develops.
I'm happy to tell you that the website now has the September 1st deadline, so you guys can relax.
Thank you.
Really, this is just such great work, Beth and Anna and Jim and Mike. I just think this is such an important step for us to take. I think we have so much in our public safety infrastructure that is good, and to show off and to let people better understand. And I am so in such admiration, Jim, of your willingness to, you know, blow it open and have a look at it and be open to other changes and everything. And really, I couldn't be happier about the direction this is going. Thank you all really a lot for all your hard work on this.
Yep. Good job, you guys. Great job.
Okay, anything else? Okay. Well, let the work begin. The next item was an update on changes to the village code. I don't know if we've gotten any further with that or not.
I can tell you that there's quite a bit of case law that affects that question. And I missed a call back today from the Conference of Mayors. I placed an inquiry in about if any other municipalities have embarked upon this kind of process. There have been municipalities that have embarked on a process of trying to restrict hateful language and have had their statutes overturned on appeal because of free speech considerations, and you've got to be very careful how you tailor the language. So that is the issue that we want to wrestle with right now.
You want me to keep that on the agenda as we go forward, or?
Yeah, you can, because I'd like to keep reporting, move this forward and report on it. I mean, there may be some changes we have to make to our code anyway, but the specific request that was brought to my attention has to be dealt with very carefully in light of First Amendment restrictions and how the courts have been interpreting those, and in light of other municipalities' efforts and not entirely successful efforts to do what we have on mind to do. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Jerry.
Okay, we'll move on to new business. First item is to authorize payment of vouchers and transfer of funds. I need a motion.
So moved.
Klaus, second.
Second.
Beth, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No, we can pay the bills. Next item is to appoint a provisional superintendent of public works. As you know, we've worked pretty hard to get through this whole process. And I'm gonna find my papers here. Bear with me. I should have been shuffling as we were talking. Okay. As you all know, throughout the interview process, we made a decision on who to offer the position to, and the offer was made to Marty Miller. Marty came in and talked to myself and Sally for a period of time as we extended the offer. Covered quite a bit of ground on benefits, job description, things of that nature, and negotiated a little bit on the salary. And today he came in and signed the acceptance of the offer. So it's the committee's recommendation that we hire Marty Miller. The annual salary is a rate of $76,500. And I need a motion to hire Marty Miller as a provisional employee subject to an exam.
So moved.
Second.
Second. Is there any further discussion?
I'm really excited for him to start. I think he'll bring some great energy, to our community. So best of luck to him.
Well, I'm looking forward to him starting too. It doesn't look like he'll be able to start until September 14th, but we'll survive through that period of time. Is there any other further discussion? Okay. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Are there any opposed? Thank you.
Mike, I'd just like to add this. I didn't want to say this because it wasn't really about his appointment, but I am also excited about the conversation we've had about getting the infrastructure committee sort of reconstituted or reinvigorated to get to be really supportive of Marty and helping his transition, his orientation in, and his transition in to be as smooth as possible. Certainly, I'm sure his crews and his staff will make that happen. But I also think from the board's perspective and from the administrative perspective, that committee is going to be really helpful in helping him ease in.
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you, Carol. Any other comment? Next item on the agenda is discuss a proposed complete streets resolution. I think that just got circulated today. I know that Complete Streets has been working on, sounds like they want to try to codify the previous resolution that we made that created the Complete Streets group as an advisory group.
Sort of an improvement on the original one. And we think it'll be useful to have it in the village code.
Okay. Well, I read through this quickly. I have, several things that I want to have a chance to digest and certainly think about. I marked up my copy. I think I want to have a conversation with the people that are on the committee. I think Klaus and Carol's been going to those meetings now. So on top of which, I think with our new superintendent coming on, I think that he needs to get his feet wet a little bit and then be able to weigh in on this. And this isn't my way of, putting it off for a long time, but I just think his input would or could be important.
Sure.
I think it's important that a couple things jump out at me. So it really isn't worth going into right now. I don't think, but it's certainly a document for us to all look at and provide input on.
I agree with you, Mike. I mostly really wanted to get this in front of everyone so that that the Complete Streets Committee has been working on this and thinking about it. Certainly as I look through it, being a little new to it, I have some questions. I feel fairly certain, I really agree. I wanted to get it in front of people, but I also think it's really important to wait for Marty's. And we're going to need him, just exactly what you said, to give him some time to get his feet on the ground. So good to have this out there for people's consideration. I think it's fair to have conversations with the ongoing conversations with the committee and keep this moving.
Sounds good.
Okay, thank you. Next item on the agenda was the work of Anna. She contacted me and asked what I thought. And, I think it was partially in response to maybe the town did a resolution concerning the direct federal related aid to all municipalities. And as you know, trustees can ask to have these things placed on our agenda. And I'm happy she did the work, and she went to NICOM and got support. And resolution that was circulated is something that I think is important, and we pass it, we'll certainly forward it on to our representatives. Anna?
Yes. Should I read it
Well, it's one way or the other. Kara will have it in the notes. If you want to highlight it?
I can highlight it if that's better. So as you said, Mayor, the town recently passed this resolution. There have been calls from various sources now for, municipal leaders, elected officials at all levels of government, really to be advocating for federal aid. And in light of COVID-19, and in light of the fact that the CARES Act does not make eligible municipalities with fewer than 500,000 people. And so that, of course, as the resolution notes, that is less than 0.5% in the entire US meet that threshold. And none of the 534 villages in New York. At the same time, of course, all of those municipalities, including ours, are continuing to provide essential services in light of reducing revenue streams, right? Even with the good news in sales tax, you know, in the amount of the drop, it's still a drop, right? So, so the ask has been, and I think what is incumbent maybe on people in our position to do is to advocate to those who can do something, right? So to our elected, our congressional representative, our senators, to in fact be advocating for federal funding related to the coronavirus pandemic that is directly delivered to all municipalities, regardless of population size. And that is what I put forward to you.
Thanks, Anna. Anybody have any questions about this?
I would just add that I totally agree. This is critical to provide this aid. We're going to hit a crisis here real soon if it's not, you know, if this aid doesn't come forth to all municipalities. It's real important.
Okay, so I need a motion to pass this resolution. Anna?
So moved.
Second.
Klaus? Any further discussion?
Thanks for doing the work, Anna.
Okay. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Is there anyone opposed? Hope not. Okay. Resolution passes, motion passes. Next item, Complete Streets nomination of a new member. You have, Klaus, somebody else that?
Yep. Phil LaMarche. We'd like to nominate Phil LaMarche to the Complete Streets Task Force. I believe Ellie and Kara have the contact information. And yeah, Dan Dominy had resigned. So we're nominating Phil LaMarche to be on Complete Streets.
Take that as a motion, Klaus?
Yep.
Second.
There you go.
Thank
Any
you.
further discussion of that, Karen? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Very good. Next item is the annual second notice fee resolution. You should have gotten that in your email. We have to do that second notice resolution every year. Sally, you, and we normally set that at 0, correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
Usually by the time we send the letters out and we're getting payments in, and then people are angry and it's 50 cents. So we ask that the fee be 0.
Need a motion on the resolution?
So moved.
Beth, second?
Second.
Klaus? Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Last item on the agenda under new business is approved fire department member James Burdick. You didn't get that in your email because the form that normally gets sent didn't get sent, but it got caught. So need a motion to accept James Burdick as a new fire department member.
So moved.
Beth, second?
Second.
Anna? All in favor? Aye.
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 Opposed? Okay. Last item on the agenda is a moment for public comment. Does anybody have any public comment? No public comment. Okay. Did I miss anything? Okay.
I would just like to say thank you to the public who is here. Thanks for coming. We're happy to see you here. Happy to have you participating and observing and all that. Thank you for coming.
And feel free to come back again. It's nice to have other people watching. I need a motion to go in executive session. It will be for matters leading to the appointment, employment, promotion, demotion, discipline, suspension, dismissal, or removal of a particular person. It's an employment issue.
So moved.
Klaus,
Second?
Beth, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, I would like Jim to stay. Jerry always stays, and Sally to stay. And everybody else, please have a good evening.
So Anna, you're all set? Should I make anybody else co-host?
You could make Carol co-host if you wanted. I think we should be okay.
Or should I make somebody a host? There, Carol's gonna be the host.
There you go.
Okay.
Thank you.
Happy to,
And now
happy
I
to
can get out.
host.
Now I can get out. Hi.
Thank you,
Bye.
Kara. Thank you very much. You did a great job.
Yeah.
Great job.
You did it.
I just have to show you. Those are the earbuds I had to wear. Aren't they the cutest?
Cool.
I
Thanks,
couldn't, mine don't work.
They're super cute.
Perfect.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Okay. Well,
This is when we stop recording too, right?
yes.
Okay.
Okay. Now I need a motion to put an end to this meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Anna? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Well, everybody, thank you for coming. I'll see Jerry in the morning.
See you later.
Take it easy.
Big doings at 9 o'clock. See you all.
Good
Night,
night.
everybody.
Couple
Good
thoughts
night.
what I'm gonna do, so. See ya.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
I'm ending meeting for all. Good night, all.